to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Bobby Amaru.
Brad Stewart.
We are in Saliva.
Yeah, here at Welcome to Rockville.
Yes.
And you guys killed it last night.
Oh, you saw?
Yeah, I had to be here because, like, all the bands I want to see, I know I'm not going to miss them by doing interviews on the pre-night, on the Wednesday night. So, yeah, it was badass.
We got to warm up a little bit. It was great.
It was a pretty good
We're playing
crowd.
2 different sets, too. So we're like, you know what? Since they're shorter sets, we decided last night we'll play, a couple different songs, and today we'll play a couple different songs.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, and it's funny because I had people come up to me and ask me, they're like, are they going to play the same set tomorrow? And I'm like, I doubt it. Why?
Some do. There's a ton of songs in the catalog when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And plus when you think you're at a festival setting, you want to keep the energy up and keep the crowd engaged. And, today we were like, let's make today our heavier set,
Nice.
So.
Well, then I can't miss that one then.
Yeah.
So what's been going on leading up to Rockville? You guys are, like, killing it out there. It's been a rough time over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you recorded that last album, not knowing, but it's a badass album for sure.
Thank you.
A lot more to the legacy. And, so tell us a little bit about what's been happening, since I don't even want to talk about it. So,
last year was a weird year for us, and losing Wayne losing anyone's tough. Losing a guy like that
right.
is really tough, And it just really. But I tried to, we try to look at the bright side of how Wayne was and how Wayne would have been if Wayne's ghost is hanging around. He's here and he's telling us, you guys need to, keep doing this shit. That's how he was, man. He was
totally.
Never, anytime he was ever sick or something, day of a show, he'd call and say, hey, bro, you got to call the kid to come fly out and play. He was just so selfless and, all about the show going on. So he, never had an ego, never had an enemy, super good dude.
See, I love hearing that.
Yeah.
My last...
Monster guitar player, dude.
No doubt. Man, no doubt. And the last time I interviewed you guys, I think it was at Blue Ridge, and I interviewed him, and a couple years ago, not what happened last year, but and just such a down-to-earth dude, like you said, no ego, and I think that's what it's all about. That's what makes a band like yours stick around as long as it does. It's always been my opinion. You got this big ego, you rise up, and then you fall. But all the icons I've ever known, they have no idea they're icons, so they're around forever.
Just humble, man. Keep it, and grateful for that we get to do this, and it's fun. We're glad to be here. Brad, you glad to be here?
I'm freaking stoked.
Nice.
Actually, we're both from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So when Danny moved the festival down here, we were pretty bummed because we could just get in our car and go home when it was over.
Right.
I mean, it's only 80 miles up the street, to Jacksonville, but it's a better facility and it's better equipped. But yeah, we're stoked. I mean, we're on the Sonic Temple too next week, and then Louder and Live too. So, and we've known Danny. It's kind of funny. I met Danny Wimmer the first time I met him. He owned the liquor license for a bar called the Milk Bar downtown Jacksonville, and I had my brother's ID. And Danny was checking IDs at the door, and he goes, "This isn't you. I know this fucking guy. This is your brother." got to be your brother Mark. And that was my introduction to Danny Wimmer. And ever
Wow.
since, and the West is history. No,
Oh, my
yeah,
God.
it's kind of funny. But and then of course he was A&R for Fred's label, signed Puddle of Mud, and then started doing festivals and just became this monstrosity of a promoter.
Yeah, I mean, I think what he did that was smart is he followed the European festival kind of
Totally.
template.
Yes,
Because
yes.
most of the festivals here in the U.S., it's like going to the fair,
And I know what you mean by that. for
Right?
sure. I know exactly what you mean.
right? And then it's a real music festival.
Yeah. Everything's nice. I mean, he caters to the artists very well, and the all the catering's great. The layout's great.
And people talking
I feel
about
like I'm at like a nice Disney theme park or something.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And, people talk about moving Rockville, and I loved it in Jacksonville too, but opposite of you, I was super excited when I came to Daytona because I'm from West Palm.
Yeah.
So that cut a couple hours off of my drive.
Yeah.
But what was best of all is the first year coming here, and now I do it every year is driving on the speedway to get to work.
It's cool, right?
Right? Did you get to drive on
Oh,
the
yeah.
actual speedway?
No, I didn't do that because I'm afraid my car would flip over. But
Well, it's funny. I have it in my vehicle. I have my skateboard. And last year, I asked Christine out there. I'm like, "Do you think I'll lose my media pass if I take my skateboard and go around the raceway?"
hey, man, you might not lose your media, but you might lose an arm.
I know, right? It is. You don't realize when you're watching on TV that it's like a straight up and down wall. Like I did say to my friends before coming up here, I'm like, yeah, I might do it. I'll probably break my arm or something, but it'll be worth it.
This is true.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I mean, this is a great facility for the grounds itself and even the pre-party.
Yeah, it was great.
that stage you were playing on, when do you play on a stage like that for a pre-party? That's what's going. It's like just the normal festival. A couple years ago there was a little stage over by the campground.
I remember that stage. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
and that was cool, but this is even cooler because you could almost put on a real show.
Right.
Well, not almost, you can. You can put on a real show on that stage because it's a real festival
stage. And there's not a bad stage, man. All the stages are great, and you have a lot of bands here too that they mix it up, and that's great because you're going to get a lot of different people listen to different stuff.
And how do you think the fans are feeling about you continuing on this legacy? What feedback have you gotten?
Man, it's been positive. It's been great. I think, when I got in the band 13 years now, right?
Wow.
13 years. And
Flies, right?
I knew it was going to be a challenge, and I knew it had a lot of hurdles to cross over, and a lot of stuff from the previous, 10 years and things. And,
Yeah.
those dudes partied hard, and they lived it up. I mean, they really, really did. And I think when I got in, the whole goal was how do we 2.0? How do we take it, keep it fun and keep it, keep it real, and I think it just started to get a little people were, not friendly anymore towards each other and stuff.
Yeah.
And that happens in bands, but the only goal I set out to do was just try to keep it fun and
That's what
make
it
good
should be.
music and just go continue on, for the fans, and then, obviously those songs, early on are iconic songs and people, the band exists because of that.
Yeah.
You can't count that out. But I also know that we're doing what we've always been doing. Brad's been around 8 years now too, and with us, and he was in Shinedown and Fuel and
9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. Okay. So and it's he understands the grind, and Wayne even when Wayne was here, he understood the grind and he was all about it, and
Right.
but I think the fans, it's kind of see the show, come see the show, and
Definitely.
and then
And you can tell, so I see a lot of shows. And you can tell who's going through the motions. You can tell which bands are like not gelling. And then you can tell the ones that are real, that are just musicians just up there doing what they want to do. It has nothing to do with anything else but playing music. And that's definitely you guys for sure.
Yeah.
So they definitely have to see that live show.
Well, and also too, you know, a lot of fans, you know, they get so connected to the songs and the band and the brand and everything. It's still a business. It's still a business at the end of the day. These are LLCs and you know incorporations and things, and so there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes too. That
I think too, that's another thing. When we become adults, we kind of realize that. When we were teenagers, like I remember I was in that whole Sunset Strip scene in the 80s. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm not posing out on my music and blah blah blah. But I was a kid, and then I realized that, you know, no matter what you're doing, it's a business.
it is.
And you know,
whether you have fun with it and not, I think it's a grateful business to be in. I'm grateful, very grateful, and you know, I know Brad is too. And the things that we've seen and done, and as you can't change that, and I wouldn't change it. It's great. You know?
So for both of you, what would be, if you were to tell your favorite story about Wayne, each one of you, what would that be?
Man, that's a tough one. There's so
Right?
many, dude.
I definitely have one.
You go first.
You might be thinking.
I don't know if I could say some of these stories is the problem. He probably wouldn't want me to anyway. I don't know.
Right?
So this one is actually really funny. So we were doing these acoustic shows. We would go out and do these unplugged things, something that Saliva had never done, right?
Right.
And Wayne loved doing them because he could sit down and play guitar, and he just loved it. He'd drink Hammer Fireball, and just, you know, and we'd be close and personal with people. And he was trying to impress this girl that he had met, and we were playing a place in Sanford or Orlando or something, and we're standing outside. I'm like talking to people or whatever, and all of a sudden he bursts through the main door of the venue, and he has a case of beer in his hand, and he's running, and then there's a security guard running after him, literally, like as if he just stole a case of beer, ran out the door, and then the security guard tackles him on the ground.
That was in Sanford.
Yeah.
Yes.
You were there.
That was when. It's kind of funny too. When we showed up, you know, Wayne kind of looked like Rob Zombie.
Right.
You know, and this guy, so we roll up, and, you know, we're just doing the acoustic thing, and these people are standing outside, and they go, well, Rob Zombie made it. We about pissed our pants. And Wayne, it was to where Wayne could hear him. Yeah, and we all heard him and shit. So anyway, it was freaking hilarious, man.
But yeah, that him running out of the thing with the beer in his hand, and I'm like,
I can visualize
I
it.
can't help him because I don't even know what's going on. And it was hilarious. And he told the guy, I'm just playing, you know, it was a joke.
So then he helps him take it back because the beer was like stacked in cases kind of by the bar, and Wayne just grabbed him and just took off, man. We were like, why did you do that shit, man? And he was like, I don't know, I just felt like the right thing to do at the time, man. And we were like,
love it.
Fuck it, man.
Oh, man, that's great shit.
Yeah, man. He was the best. I mean, he was the guy that we were playing a radio thing in Vegas, and of course, Wayne would show up late to the airport, almost missed his plane, had to leave his guitars in the car to make his flight. So then we had, when he got to Vegas, we had to go rent guitars for the guy. He was just so crazy and just all over the place sometimes, man. But he'd get up there every night and just slay it, dude. You know, he was just like, he was total pro, you know, and very respected, very underrated though. I don't know why that was that way, but I mean, maybe people will figure it out later. But I mean,
think some of the best musicians I've ever known in my lifetime were all underrated. It's like there's something about that.
Yeah. I mean, he'd get up there. He could hang with just about anybody on the guitar. I mean, in the studio, he was like, to me, the most talented guy in the room at any given time in the studio or on the stage, you know? I mean,
I love it. I love hearing this stuff from, you know, you hear a lot of bad blood going on in bands nowadays, and to hear this stuff, that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear all that other bullshit.
he didn't really have any enemies, so it was real.
See, I love that.
Like everyone loved him. He didn't, you know, he just kind of just would show up and do his thing too. You know, I mean, he wasn't like trying to start drama with people, or if there was any beef, he would squash it between other people. He'd try to like help other people figure out their problems too, man. You know, it was just a one of a kind person.
We
He's a
need
fucking
more
legend,
people
man.
like him and you
Absolutely.
guys in rock and roll, man.
Thank you, man.
For sure.
Appreciate that, brother.
Tell everybody how they can reach out to you guys on the web, socials, buy merch, check out other tour dates.
Yeah, you know, all the stuff, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, you know. Tinder? Yeah.
Wait, you think that's funny? For my radio show, we set up a Pipeman OnlyFans.
Oh, wow.
The first ever podcast OnlyFans.
Hey, man, people make money on that stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to do things different nowadays.
Yeah, dude. It's clearly I'm in the wrong business.
Right?
Nobody want to see me though, so.
Yeah, that's what I have co-hosts for. The pictures aren't of me.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's like catfish, you know, you're like catfishing them.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you guys rocked it here last night at Welcome to Rockville. You're going to rock it again here today. And thanks for giving us such great music and continuing on the legacy. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks, bud. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, this is Bobby
And Brad?
from Saliva, and you were listening to Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.